Hello, and welcome to the HelloID provisioning product release video for December 2023. HelloID provisioning is a 100% born in the cloud, easy to configure and maintain user provisioning solution. It helps organizations to fully automate the user lifecycle management by connecting the HR or SIS as a source system. Every change in this source is detected and processed into the network and your cloud applications. No more worries about stale user accounts, accumulation of licenses or access rights, manual user management, or compliancy issues. Please note that this video highlights only the new features in the December 2023 release. For more videos, visit docs.helloid.com or check out our YouTube channel. Let's dive in. We'll start with a PowerPoint presentation before moving on to demonstrate the new functionalities for the December 2023 release. We're excited to share two new features in this release. First, we are introducing support for conditional events within the AD target system. Additionally, we have added new functionality for exporting a list of blocked users. We will now demonstrate these new features. Conditional events for Active Directory under the menu section Business, subsection Custom Events, now allow you to select a conditional event based on an Active Directory target system. Where this functionality was previously only available for the new V2 PowerShell connector. The configuration process is essentially the same. We have created an example here where the configuration consists of the event name, the system for which the event applies, and in this case, it is now also possible to choose for the built-in Active Directory system besides the PowerShell v2. We have the option to select an action to which this applies, and of course, to set up one or more conditions that must be met. When setting up these conditions, the same standard configuration is available as for the v2 target system. This includes options like whether a field has a value, has changed, contains, or is equal to, as well as the ability to reverse the comparison. When setting up the event, it is important to select a field, and this field becomes available in this list. How these fields end up in this list, we will show you in the mapping overview shortly. To make this possible, the mapping screen within the Active Directory has also been updated. When we look at the configuration of an Active Directory target system, we have a new tab called Fields. Within this mapping, a new default is available, and the default set of fields has been expanded. The reason behind this is that we previously used a drop-down menu that provided an overview of the most commonly used fields for the Active Directory system. That functionality has been replaced with an extensive set of standard fields with the introduction of the new mapping screen. Adding additional fields is still possible and can be done by using the Add Field button. When naming the fields, please keep in mind that HelloID does not validate them, so correctly configuring field names within the mapping is a requirement. The requirement to set a certain number of fields to be required has been eliminated with the introduction of this new interface. In the previous interface, some fields, including common name, SAM account name, etc., could not be removed, but technically with this interface they can be. To indicate this, a required field is marked with the required option as part of the field's description. This indicates that the field is mandatory and should not be missing from the mapping. If one of these fields is accidentally deleted, it will ultimately result in an error message during the execution of a process. This new interface also allows you to make changes to a specific field for each action. Previously, this was only possible through actions like create or update, or by using a post-AD actions, but not during the enable or disable process by default. If we look at the description, for example, you can see that there are several configuration sets available. Specifically, for each action in this case, create, a field is mapped, and the value managed by HelloID is assigned. This value is set when the account is created. Additionally, we have also set up a specific set for when an account is enabled. In this case, when an account is enabled, the description value will be changed to enabled by HelloID. This is also possible for disable, where the value will be set to disabled by HelloID, or even in the case of a delete action, where the value unmanaged by HelloID will be placed in the field. This last option is only possible if they delete the account when revoking the entitlement option is disabled. Furthermore, in this release, the checking of fields for uniqueness has been adjusted. Previously, this was an option that could be enabled or disabled per field in the mapping. In the new interface, it has been replaced with a list of fields. If a field is part of this list, uniqueness will be checked, and it is also possible to add additional fields outside the standard set. External uniqueness checking has also been updated, and for external uniqueness checking, an option has been added to perform it based on specific actions. You can specify that you want to check the uniqueness of a field only based on creating a new account or when updating an account, for example. The script behind this remains unchanged, but can be executed specifically in such scenarios. Going back to the mapping, there is also a small note regarding specific configuration options for password fields. Password fields include options like change password on next logon, password never expires, and user cannot change password. These specific fields are internally handled by the built-in connector and are properly mapped to the corresponding bit value for the field. No validation is applied when setting these fields. Please keep this in mind when configuring conflicting settings. For example, it is not possible to enable user cannot change password and also change password on next logon. If configured in this way, it would ultimately result in an error message in the process. The last step in this configuration is that the correlation overview or the configuration of the correlation overview has been adjusted. Previously, there was a list of fields available, a limited list of fields that could be used for correlation. This has now been expanded, and you can include your custom attributes from the Active Directory in the correlation process. Additionally, we have added the functionality to export a list of blocked individuals. This is part of the source system, and when looking at the list of blocked persons, a new button has been added. From this button, you can export the overview to a CSV file. The data in the CSV is the same as the data shown on this overview page, including which individuals are blocked and the reason for the blockage. A note for this release is that there is a breaking change, which means that the HelloID agent needs to be checked and should always run the latest version of our agent software. Thank you for joining us to explore these latest updates. Your attention to these new features is greatly appreciated.